Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, off weekend this week. Not a lot newsworthy, nothing going on. I haven't really heard anything. It's been quiet. I'm kidding, of course. It's been ridiculous between the Bobrachev FIM AMA Pro Racing debacle and Rocky Mountain ATV team folding up. And yes, they did fold up, people. I've been taking some serious heat. And let me just walk you guys through how this went down. Wednesday night, one of my sources, actually two of my sources, hit me up and let me know this was happening. What I was told was the team hasn't been paid for a month. There's been a split with the investor that was brought on in the off season, who owns the 83 compound, and that they were most likely, and I said probably in my last video, probably not racing this weekend. Well, I'm sorry to hear that happened. That sucks. It's not something that I'm celebrating, or it's awful. It's really, really crappy. We need more teams in this sport. This is something that myself and Johnny Hopper have been screaming about for a while now. It's not a healthy system, the way it's run, the way it's catered to the factories, and then these smaller teams have no way to get money other than sponsors. They don't have a baseline from the series. But hopefully the World Series that's coming next year, even though it's FIM, and I'm not a fan of the FIM, and I'll get into that, but it's not the FIM that they don't put it on. They're just the sanctioning body. The promoters that I hear that are doing the World Series are actually, they're really good promoters. They know what they're doing, and they have to get the FIM so the manufacturers will recognize the series as the international series and actually participate. If not, they look at it as some janky series and they won't participate. Okay, so let me walk you through the Forest thing first. Well, I get a call. They're telling me what's going on. And like always, I bring it to you guys. I'm full transparency. I heard the riders weren't getting on the plane, and so I brought it to you. I wake up the next morning to, no, this is all fake news. Not one person's reported it yet besides me, and I'm starting to get a little nervous. So I get a hold of my sources and I say, hey, are you guys sure? They're like, dude, we're positive. Just hang tight. It'll all come through. And listen, at the same time, I would love to eat my words and have this team be healthy. And I'm not going to say anything else about Forrest Butler, because I've been to some dark places in my life, and I look at him and I see where he's at, and I hear the things that I've heard. Listen, as much as I've finagled with him and messed with him, I don't want that. That guy has a family. He has people around him. He needs some help, and I hope he gets the help that he needs. And so I'm not going to say anything more about Forrest, other than it was kind of crazy. It was crazy when they sent out the press release literally about me saying everything I said was a joke. That was literally yesterday. And then today, Swap Moto is reporting that the whole team and riders have all resigned. Listen, that's not what I wanted. I would have loved to have ate crow and said, you know what, I had it all wrong. The team's totally healthy. They're good to go. That would be ideal. But unfortunately, that's just not the case. But I did hear Rocky Mountain. Okay, and then people, don't get mad at Rocky Mountain MC. So Rocky Mountain MC is just a sponsor of a race team. They just hand money to some people, the Butler brother, BBMX, for the team, and they run the team, and they name the team after the sponsor to get more publicity. So you call it the Rocky Mountain team. Rocky Mountain has done nothing wrong. Don't not order for them. Don't call them. Don't email them. They will stick around the sport. And from what I hear, they're already lining up with another team to support another team next year. They're a great company, and they do not deserve any flack whatsoever, period. They've done nothing but contribute. So please don't say anything negative or do anything negative to Rocky Mountain MC. They're a gift to the sport, and we need to appreciate them. As far as the team, listen, I hope they put that money towards some of these teams that that struggle and do it the right way. And it was funny, I was talking to my buddy Kenny Watson, and he's been around a lot of these smaller teams, and he knows how it works. And he said, listen, it's okay if a team has money problems, but you need to be transparent about those money problems. you don't just hide and stop paying and tell everybody it's okay. Hey, you let people know, hey, this is where we're at. This is what we've got. It's not unheard of. It's extremely expensive to go racing. It's hard to keep that budget balanced. And if it goes a little haywire, most people understand. You tell people, and if a rider's got to go, they got to go. If they want to stick around and maybe take a salary cut, or there's things you can do, but you have to be transparent. That's something this team didn't do. They would wait until it was over, and then it was, up until yesterday, they were still putting stuff out saying that they were perfectly fine and this was all just fake news. I don't know where to go with that, except for I would just hope that teams in the future, listen, there's probably a team right there that's struggling. Just be honest with your people, let them know where you're at, and honestly, fans will chip in. If we had found out this team was struggling, and we all want them in the pits, the moto community is a good community. You could probably do a GoFundMe and get some money to get them through the rest of the season. That's how it works. Like, it is what it is. So, and now back to the FIM and Davey Coombs and AMA Pro Racing and not letting my guy, his nickname, they call him Bobby Richev. He is not being allowed to race. Davey Coombs is posting everywhere left and right that it's the FIM. Yes, the FIM absolutely banned Russian racers. Keep in mind, Bobrichev lived in the Netherlands for the past 15 years. His wife is half Ukrainian. And there's nothing from AMA Pro Racing that says they can't let him race. If they let him race, yes, the FIM could throw a fit, and they do. And there's very well they could throw some restrictions. They don't have a lot of leverage with the AMA Pro Racing. The only things they can affect are the Motocross of Nations, which I don't know about this. And I asked Davey about it, and he said, no, he's not a co-promoter, but I believe he's involved somehow in bringing the Des Nations to America this year. And that would make sense, because then he doesn't want to make them mad, which would affect his pocketbook. He said that's not true. So I got to take him at his word and say he's not involved in it. So with that, okay, so if he's not involved, then he says they'll ban American riders. Well, what kind of a success is the Motocross of Nations going to be here in our country if our riders aren't even allowed to race? You think we'll support it? No, it's a flop. They won't do it, people. There's no chance. So to quote the famous Conor McGregor, they'll do nothing. That's it. They'll do nothing. They're posturing. Now, this leads me to believe maybe Davey Coombs genuinely feels like Bobrichev shouldn't be riding because he's of Russian descent. If that's the case, be a man and just say, hey, he's Russian and we don't want him racing. I would have more respect for him if he came out and was honest about it and told us. If he's genuinely scared of the FIM, I just don't believe that, because he's had three or four different answers as to why. First, it was he's worried about Bobrichev getting a lifetime ban. My answer to that was, shouldn't that be Bobrichev to worry about? That's not your worry. Congratulations, Big Papa, you take care of him, but he wants to race. He's not worried about that risk. He's 34 years old. He's only got a couple left. Maybe he'll just stay in the United States for the rest of his career. That wouldn't suck, would it? The guy's a great guy, good rider. So anyway, that's the silly stuff going on. I have one of our listeners, Tom Klein, he thinks that Bobrichev should be banned, and we're going to do a little debate if he shows up this Friday afternoon. And I'd just like to hear. I love hearing other opinions, and maybe I'm missing some stuff. Tom seems like an intelligent guy, so we'll go from there, and I'll post that up hopefully later this evening. Thanks, guys.